Hey everyone, welcome back to America Today. It's September 8, 2025, and today we're diving into the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, or H.R. 1, the massive new law that's got America buzzing. Signed by President Trump on July 4th, it promises tax relief for working families, stronger border security, and bold economic reforms. But it's also sparked a fierce debate, with White House Deputy Chief of Staff James Blair accusing Democrats of misleading the public about what's in it. So, what's really in this bill? Why is it so controversial? And what does it mean for you? Let's break it down. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you don't miss a thing. Here we go. First, let's talk about how this bill came to be. It started as a core promise from Trump's 2024 campaign, a big, bold plan to tackle taxes, government spending, and the border. Officially called H.R. 1 in the 119th Congress, it was sponsored by Republican Representative Jody Arrington from Texas. Congress used a process called reconciliation to fast-track it, needing just 51 Senate votes to pass. After intense debates, it cleared the House in late May 2025, squeaked through the Senate by July 1st, and landed on Trump's desk with a big Independence Day signing ceremony. But Democrats didn't make it easy. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer forced a full reading of the bill's 1,200-plus pages and even got its flashy name changed, calling it a big, ugly betrayal. Drama. Oh, yeah, now, let's meet the man defending this bill, James Blair, the 36-year-old White House Deputy Chief of Staff. A Florida native who worked on Trump's 2024 campaign, Blair's been all over Fox News, Fox Business, and X, where he's got over 500,000 followers, pushing the bill's benefits. He says it's the biggest tax cut package for working families in history, and he's accusing Democrats of spreading misinformation to hide its wins. The White House even launched a website, whitehouse.gov/OBBB, with calculators to show your personal savings. Blair's mission: make sure Americans know the truth about what's in this bill. And with the 2026 midterms coming, the stakes are high. So, what's actually in this thing? It's a massive reconciliation package, blending tax cuts, spending reforms, border security funding, and energy policies. The Congressional Budget Office estimates it'll cost $3 to $4 trillion over 10 years, though Republicans argue it's closer to $2 trillion when you factor in savings and economic growth. Let's start with the tax cuts, the heart of Blair's pitch. The bill makes the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act permanent, keeping individual rates from 10 to 37%. The standard deduction jumps to $23,625 for singles and $47,250 for joint filers. Families get a bigger child tax credit, now $2,200 per kid, up from $2,000, and fully refundable if you've got a Social Security number. But here's the part Blair's shouting from the rooftops: no tax on tips and overtime, at least through 2028, and it's retroactive for 2025. If you're a server, driver, or stylist, one of the 6 million tipped workers in America, you can deduct up to $25,000 in tips, saving about $1,300 a year on average. Overtime workers, like nurses or cops, about 20 million of you, get a $12,500 deduction, or $25,000 for joint filers, saving around $1,400 annually. Seniors score a $6,000 bonus deduction, shielding 88% of Social Security benefits from taxes. Businesses aren't left out either. They get full expensing for equipment, R&D deductions, and a 23% break on qualified business income. The White House says a family of 4 could save over $2,000 a year. Blair calls it the largest middle-class tax cut ever, but critics like the Tax Foundation warn some of these breaks are temporary, which could mean uncertainty down the road. Before we keep going, quick reminder: if you're finding this breakdown helpful, give us a like and share this video with someone who needs to know. It really helps us keep the lights on. Okay, back to the bill. On the spending side, things get heated. Republicans say it saves $2 trillion through cuts and efficiencies. For example, SNAP, that's food stamps, now has tighter work requirements, 80 hours a month for able-bodied adults, and it restricts eligibility for non-citizens, potentially saving $100 billion over a decade. Medicaid adds community engagement mandates and limits coverage to citizens and legal permanent residents, which the CBO says could save $500 billion but might affect millions. There's some good news, though. $10 billion goes to rural health and home-based care. Other cuts include $50 billion from green energy programs, like clean vehicle subsidies, and new limits on unemployment benefits for high earners. There's also $100 million for AI to catch Medicare fraud. Oh, and the debt ceiling. It's up $5 trillion to avoid a default. Blair says these reforms prevent economic collapse, but Democrats argue they hurt the most vulnerable. Let's talk border security, a huge piece of Trump's agenda. The bill pumps over $150 billion into immigration enforcement. That's $46.5 billion for the border wall and barriers, $45 billion for detention beds, $29.8 billion for ICE hires and deportations, and $6 billion for tech-like sensors. New fees hit, too. $250 or more for visas, $100 for asylum claims. Blair says this is enough to secure the border for Trump's entire term and deliver on mass deportation promises. Early data shows crossings are down, but human rights groups are raising alarms about family separations and due process. Energy's another big focus. The bill mandates more oil and gas lease sales, 4-year onshore, 30 offshore in the Gulf by 2040, and opens 4 million acres for coal leasing. Royalties drop to 7% temporarily, and $389 million bolster the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Clean energy tax credits get phased out, saving $300 billion but drawing fire from renewables fans. Blair says this empowers American energy dominance and lowers costs, with a White House map showing job boosts in fossil fuel states like Ohio and Texas. Healthcare and education get tweaks, too. Medicaid's work requirements kick in by 2026, with cost sharing for expansion enrollees, which some worry could close rural hospitals. Medicare's limited to citizens and legal residents, with $25 million for AI to spot improper payments. In education, family farms are exempt from aid calculations, graduate loans are capped, and PLUS loans are gone. Now, let's get to the controversy. Blair's been vocal, saying Democrats are dishonest about the bill's impact. On Fox, he debunked claims that people will literally die from cuts, pointing to expanded rural health funding. His ex-posts push the tax wins, no tax on tips, bigger child credits, and polls show 60% approval when people know the details. The White House's myth versus fact page backs him up, saying the bill strengthens the safety net for eligible Americans. But Democrats are fighting back hard. Chuck Schumer's ex-feed calls it a disaster, raising healthcare premiums, closing rural hospitals, cutting food assistance. He says it rewards billionaires while gutting Medicaid for $16 million. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries calls it a betrayal. The Center for American Progress lists 10 egregious issues, like new taxes on immigrant remittances and overreach on fraud prevention. KFF polls show 67% of Americans view the bill unfavorably, especially over healthcare cuts. The CBO says 60% of tax benefits go to high earners, and that $5 trillion debt ceiling hike has folks worried about inflation. Schumer even ties it to rising producer prices, saying Trump's chaos is fueling economic pain. Democrats are already planning reversal bills, setting up 2026 as a referendum. So, who wins and who loses? Tipped and overtime workers, small businesses, and fossil fuel states like Texas are big winners, with families potentially saving thousands on taxes and new jobs popping up. But low-income folks on Medicaid or SNAP, maybe 5 to 10 million, could face cuts. Green energy workers, around 50,000, might lose jobs, and immigrants face higher fees and tougher enforcement. Polls are mixed. 55 to 65% unfavorable overall, but 60% of Republicans like it. On X, Blair's border security posts get love, while Schumer's critiques go viral with millions of views. Economists are split, too. The Tax Foundation sees a 1 to 2% GDP boost, but others warn of a $4 trillion debt spike. Alright, we're almost done, but quick break. If you're still with me, drop a comment with your thoughts on the bill. Boon or bust, and if you want more deep dives like this, subscribe and share. It keeps us going. So, what's the bottom line? The One Big Beautiful Bill is a defining moment, a bold mix of tax relief, border security, and spending reforms that Blair says will empower working Americans. But Democrats call it a cruel cut to the safety net, favoring the wealthy. Early signs show tax refunds rolling in and border operations ramping up, but with healthcare and debt concerns, the jury's still out. As we head toward the 2026 midterms, expect more ads, debates, and maybe a few surprises. What do you think? Is this bill a game changer or a misstep? Let me know below. Hit that like button if this helped, and subscribe for more.